Local author and food critic Jared Gleaton is here helping bring attention to the exquisite culinary scene, not just here in Tulsa, but all over Green Country. Jared Gleaton joins me this morning to share all about his new book and more. Good morning to you, Jared.
Good morning, Joy. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing even better knowing that you brought us some treats, so thank you so much for doing that. Now, all this food goes back to your weight loss journey, and you helped write a book to tell us a little bit about that. So let's talk about the book, let's talk about your journey and how we got here today.
Absolutely. So I grew up in food was one of my things that I got to share with my family, especially with my father. And that built that bond early on with my father. And in 2016, I lost my father. And at that time, I weighed right around 376, 380 pounds. And a lot of people would use that moment to just continue using food as a coping mechanism. Instead, I used strength and realizing a change needed to happen, and I lost 176 pounds in a year.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so this obviously was a huge journey, a huge thing you overcame in your life. And so you developed this kind of relationship between psychology and food. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm a school psychologist, so I work in education for Oklahoma, and I've been a school psychologist. This will be my 14th year. And so I took that sort of perspective and that training and really studied the intersection of food and psychology using the 5 senses. And I got to explore the different flavor palettes and profiles that go into food to really use that to grow my perspective of food and use that growth in other parts of my life.
I love that. So you mentioned when you walk into a restaurant, it's not, ooh, I want to eat this, let me just smash it in my face. It's taking in the atmosphere. It's really taking in the taste and the texture and the ingredients, and that helps you kind of slow down your eating as well.
Oh, absolutely. So whenever you go into a restaurant, it's about the entire experience. If you go into a restaurant and it's loud and you're someone that doesn't like loud crowds, your anxiety spikes. And whenever your anxiety spikes, your senses dull, like your taste might not be as sharp. And so you're already predetermined not to enjoy yourself as much because that anxiety is up there. If you're able to recognize that and fight through that and lower your anxiety, you can enjoy that so much more, and you've one, lowered your anxiety, but 2, you're starting to explore things that you might not think were there because you had that anxiety to begin with.
Wow, that's a great mindset to have. So let's talk about the culinary renaissance happening in Oklahoma. I love eating local in Tulsa, and let's tie that in with the sweet treats you bought for us today.
Yes, these are pastries from Country Bear Bakery, owned by Kat Cox. She's open on Saturdays and Thursdays, sometimes on Thursdays. She sources her grains locally from the area. She works primarily with sourdough. I've had pastries from Dominic Ansel in New York. I've had Dominic Kren in San Francisco, and these flavor profiles that she's able to achieve are in those same vein. It is truly incredible.
I'm going to take a little bite if that's okay.
Please do.
For folks who are interested about your book, tell us a little bit about where we can find that.
Absolutely. You can find it on Amazon. The book features and details my journey through losing the weight and also discusses how we can work and discover the biases within ourselves to help grow. It also discusses, critiques and food critiques that I've sort of grown a local following as a food critic. I was just returned from the James Beard Award ceremonies where I got to sort of explore that world and see what it's like to be around those winners. I just was observing, and so it was really incredible to get that atmosphere and energy. And the great thing is Oklahoma is going through a renaissance right now, especially in Green Country. And some of the people leading that is Kat Cox with her incredible baking. Randy Page at Cricket and Fig Chocolate is doing things with chocolate that no one else in the state is doing that I've come across, and he's on level with some of the best chocolatiers. And then when you're thinking of food in Oklahoma, Trevor Tack with Lo-Fi, and he's about to open up a new brasserie. It's going to be so incredible, along with other individuals like Dr. Customs. I don't know if you've seen Dr. Customs. He does quite possibly Alex Figueroa, the best picanha sandwich that I've had, quite possibly the best sandwich around the area. And then we can't speak of Oklahoma cuisine without talking about Chef Lisa Beckland. And she has what I like to call the Holy Trinity, where she elevates Oklahoma food into that Michelin or even James Beard award-winning criteria, and that is 𝙅𝙬𝙧𝙚, Farm Bar, and the Living Kitchen out in 𝙭.
Well, we definitely have a lot of awesome local options right here in Tulsa. Jared, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes. Great to meet you. You can find Jared Gleaton on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and more at Jared Gleaton Eats. For more information and to find more information about his book, visit jaredgleatoneats.com.